Thanks everyone for joining here, and thank you to the FOSSASIA team who has given me this opportunity to speak about what we are doing about FOSS community in India. Uh, so I'm gonna speak about uh, our last 4 years, what we have done in India while when we are building FOSS community, the issues and certain other things. I'm not sure where the right place to stand, but probably, yeah. All right. So, for a begin, I'd like to speak a little bit about myself. I am Vishal and I work full time for FOSS United Foundation. I mention full time because we are a bunch of, there are hundreds of volunteers who work with us in their free time, help us to build this community. Uh, Again, just a statement, we call it very proudly. So we are a bunch of folks who are passionate about building the FOSS community because we see a problem, in India in terms of the kind of culture that we have seen in last decade since the internet boom came. We consume a lot of FOSS. 100 plus $1 billion startups are currently in India, but very few contributes back. All these major projects that we use in our daily life, be it Wikimedia or any projects, mostly coming out of from the West. When I say West from India. And we are lucky that there are a lot of industry support that we get through funding, through mentorship, through volunteering. So some stats since we started. We have around 13,000 participations across the country, and this is just a beginning. So, we also have a FOSS grant program where we fund open source projects so that they can keep doing what they have started. So a lot of FOSS projects dies because the lack of funding and certain community around where they can showcase, probably, get users and then contributors. So we have been funding a lot of projects. Maybe these are a few grantees. We also fund organizations who promote the idea of FOSS or privacy, digital privacy. We are active in 17 cities. Like I mentioned, lots of volunteers across India who come and help us. We recently started our FOSS Club program where we are aiming to create the culture of hacking, building, because that's where everything begins for any software developers while they are learning, while they are in college, and an exploration phase is and that's the exploration phase, the college time, and that's where we want to strike. This year we are aiming to go to around 100 clubs. Again, this is just a number, it could go up and down. Right now we are in 12 colleges. This is an experimental year for us, and we're trying to figure out what are the ground issues. So for example, in the 12 clubs, we have only 10 active. 2 of them are not going well as we planned. So we're trying to find a models which will fit into different colleges, different kind of colleges in India. So just to give you an example, India has since the internet boom, and there were a lot of countries worldwide, reach out. I mean, we have a lot of Indian companies who give service consultancy, tech-based consultancy, and there is a huge demand in software engineers, and which led to a lot of people in the industry setting up engineering college. So traditionally, engineering college was supposed to be tinkering, hacking, building stuff. If you take example of AI, MIT, Media Labs, AI Labs, all of those started because of they felt let's go and solve something through this engineering college. But In India, this has become a model to supply what is demand, what's being demanded in the market. So we are trying to understand the kind of college, the culture that exists in these colleges, thousands of colleges in India, and trying to figure out certain different models which will fit into these. I was talking to one of the guy, I mean, the TOR co-founder, and there is a university challenge. So we are trying to talk to as many people as possible and see what would work out in certain tier of colleges and what would work in different colleges. So there has been, again, I mentioned, a lot of industry support we have been seeing in these last 4 years. Again, I would be interested, I mean, we cannot figure out, I mean, we could keep doing what we are doing so far. So we realized after 4 years that we are missing a lot of key issues. We are not going through this. So this is just an, we are very agile team. We are a very small team, where we accept every single day if we're doing any mistake or trying to learn from it. So we felt that the kind of community that we have created so far is probably the elite group who talks in English. And we are discarding the set of people who do not understand or speak English, which is a huge problem. Maybe I got lucky that I went to a college where, people, I had to learn English to speak, but imagine a place where nobody speak English, a state where nobody speak English. Let's take example of, where small city where people speak in their local language in their colleges. So to include them in our community is a pretty much hard problem. So one key issue of India is that we have 22 major languages, and what we are trying to do is one language for all, basically saying just one distro of Linux. I don't think people will agree here, right? So there are every single year there is a new distro coming. I'm using Pop OS. I was using something else like a year back, and then something else a year back. So we are trying to create a local, one different distro of community, and then plugging how we can leverage the existing group, which we have built already. And then, so we have started creating, explainer videos where in local languages. So that is one issue. The demography, the culture, different parts of India. Again, this is just a challenge we have found out, the issue we have found out. We haven't worked on it. It's still, process, work in progress. The education system, I was talking about the scale in the number of colleges which started in recent years, recent decade because of the demand from the market. This has created certain problems where people without understanding who don't know what is engineering are signing up for engineering. So it's become a big problem. So maybe I'll talk about the solution, probably what we are thinking about it in the next slide. And then another big challenge we saw was there are a lot of group in India, tech groups in India who build FOSS, but they are fragmented. They are working in silos, not connected well with the rest of the community who could mentor them, fund them. So when we started the FOSS grant program, we realized that there are projects who exist in India who are getting funds from different sources. But again, they don't know each other. We don't know each other because of the whole demography. If I travel from New Delhi to Trivandrum, it's a almost 3.5-hour flight. I came to Vietnam from Kolkata, it's 2-hour flight. So India itself is huge. I mean, people find it difficult to go and meet others. So that's what we are trying to bridge. But yeah, this is one of the problems we found. And the rise of non-FOSS groups. For example, there are certain technologies who have presence in colleges, for example, and promoting non-FOSS tools. Let's say certain I don't want to put the name, so I'm just trying to figure out the right way to put it. So there are a lot of databases, for example. So it's very easy to plug and use database, and then you'll build a good software. But then the students don't realize, or the developers don't realize, that there will be a time where it will become a bottleneck in terms of finance or moving out to another system, basically open source system, where they'll be charged. They'll have the freedom. So there's huge rise in non-FOSS groups in colleges. All big techs, all the services that we use. I'll just put the name like Microsoft, Google. They have their presence in thousands of colleges all across the world, which is aiming to promote their own technologies rather than FOSS. Since they have done a lot of money, they could, basically overshadow what exactly engineering or any college is supposed to. So these are the few key issues that we have found. Again, there are a lot. Again, so I was talking about creating, having the local group where people learn through each other, through local languages or through local contents, not necessarily English. So one thing, for example, in India, around early 2000, there were a group of people who started who started building, translating Linux into local languages. For example, we have in a lot of things we see, if any of you have read about the kind of options when you install, let's say you install Ubuntu, you see a lot of languages option. And these all are results of lot of localization movement happened, which long back in early 2000. Bunch of people who spent 2-3 years just going to meeting people in the local area, let's say Goa or let's say Kerala, and then made those translations over years. And then that, not just in India, but worldwide, you go and see in Chinese, every language, Linux has a lot of options in local languages. So that's what we are trying to do with the community and the content that exists on internet. Not just content, but quality content. So again, this is just what we have learned in the last 4 years, that what we are focusing on our elite group, and this applies for any other country, not just India. So another thing is, when I was in college, I'm talking about continuous mentorship. Let's say I had a roommate who I used to ask him. From the first day in college, he used to start building a lot of games, and I got curious. I bought the same laptop he bought without giving a second thought. And I used to ask him, hey, can you help me to make this snakes? There was very nice, beautiful UI for the one game. And I used to ask him. He's like, no, just go on internet search. And I used to feel very pissed off. There was a better way to deal with it, but I think I learned the very hard way. But I believe there are better ways, at least for the people. Like I said, the problem with India is not everybody, or to be very precise, most of us join engineering college because we see a lot of job opportunities. That's the harsh reality. So mentorship is something which comes in the picture. And with the FOSS United, we have a lot of people. For example, we have a booth here, and I posted on Twitter that we are looking for people to volunteer who can come and help us at the booth, even though it's not active. I'm roaming around. But the idea is there are a lot of people in India who are ready to travel to help others without, just volunteering, not for money. So there are huge interest in people who are looking to help. It's just a matter of bridging those groups who are looking for help and the group who needs help, basically. The group who wants to help and the group who requires help. So we are just trying to become a bridge, either by talking to these both groups, or just creating a platforms where they can directly match and talk. Of course, welcoming community is very must. Like I said, the flatmate, the roommate I had, I didn't still like him because of that fact. And still, whenever I text him, he says, "Yeah, can you just search on Google?" Yeah, I pretty much sense that we need a welcoming community where we don't feel like, okay, I'm an outsider or I could not do this. Uh, so the way we have been achieving what we have achieved so far, I was showing you the stats, the community, the cities, the mentor, is through regular catch-ups like FOSSASIA Summit. So we do monthly events in most of the cities every month almost, and there are regional conferences, and then there is India-wide, flagship events like FOSSAC, India FOSS, and where people come and showcase what they are building, their network. They either look for, so there are a lot of opportunity either for the grant, or there are a lot of VCs who come and invest in those projects. And through the regular meetups, we are trying to connect these people and make people aware what are being built, what they can use. For example, so there are a lot of open source projects coming out for the API testing. For example, there is a Bruno, there is Hopscotch, Insomnia, Postman we all know, right? So Postman, these all are Postman's FOSS alternative. So one of the project, Bruno, they got popular overnight. I mean, multiple times they got trending #1 on Hacker News. How many of you know Hacker News? Nice. So they got viral couple of times. So they were struggling a lot for. It was just one person, so he was struggling a lot for like 2-3 years, but could not find right kind of attention. But then couple of night, a lot of people started talking about it on the Hacker News post, and then all of a sudden he has like I guess 18K stars. It's a real genuine project where people didn't find in. Could not find in other projects like Insomnia or Hopscotch. So, oops, I think my time is over. I will set up. So I'll just quickly go through the programs through slides. So we have a regular meetups where we invite people to come and speak, like FOSS Asia. I mentioned about FOSS clubs. We have forums like we have Discord setup, we have Telegram, we have a few groups on WhatsApp where the local do not do not want to go to out of Telegram. So it's all completely up to the local folks who wants to have this community, and then through the main channel they connect with the outer world. So we have grants to support events like any events like hackathon or conferences, and we also fund projects grants through partners or directly. So again, I was talking about we are reaching out to more cities now, not just tier 1, small towns wherever there are some group who are working on tech, building tech. We are trying to reach to those groups. They're quite potential, like I believe. And we have seen a lot of results in last few years because of people experimenting with what others are doing and probably end up building some FOSS tools. It could be utility, not necessarily on the scale of Wikimedia. Yeah, scaling FOSS Club. I mean, there's huge interest coming in as people are getting to know about. Okay, we have programs like FOSS Club. We are going to focus more on hacking, tinkering than just meetup, catch up, which we do a lot. We're trying to pivot from that, just catching to building as well. We lack women's participation. We are gonna, we are still focusing, but it's really hard to find out the right way to how we can increase the diversity, mostly women's participation. Yeah, I talked about educational content. That's it. I mean, it's all possible because of lots of volunteers, industry, academia who help us throughout the year. I'll skip this. So skip this. These are partners who support us. Thank you.